KFDM News has checked with the Jefferson County Jail only moments ago, and tonight we've learned the man charged in the teen's death is not out of jail. Rockline Kennedy will have to post bond of $200,000 in order to leave the jail. Judge John Stevens set the higher bond during a hearing today after he upgraded the charge against 65-year-old. From intoxication assault to intoxication manslaughter. If convicted, he could face up to 20 years in prison. Investigators say he was driving drunk when he crashed into 18-year-old Kristin Paris' car Monday night near Ford Park. KFDM's Jessica Crawford is live at the Jefferson County Courthouse with details about the hearing. Jessica, Kennedy came into the courtroom in a wheelchair. What do we know about his medical condition?
That's right, Kelly. Kennedy did come into the courtroom in a wheelchair, and he said that he had a problem with his shoulder and a problem with his foot. He didn't really expand on that, except for to say that he sustained both of those injuries from the crash that he was involved in. Also, if you take a look at the courtroom video coming up here, he would occasionally dab his eyes with a tissue.
Intoxication manslaughter. That's the charge 65-year-old Rockline Kennedy is facing after his latest hearing and after an event James Makin, his attorney, calls a nightmare.
Well, for both families, but especially for the family of the young girl. I mean, as parents, fathers, it's just your worst nightmare ever come true.
That nightmare, the deadly crash police say took place when Kennedy was driving the wrong way, intoxicated down I-10, is something 18-year-old Kristin Paris' family is living with right now.
It's not okay to be a drunk driver. It's never okay to be a drunk driver. If you want to be so selfish that you're a drunk driver, I think that the laws are way too lenient on them.
Kennedy faced the law during his hearing at the Jefferson County Courthouse. His attorney calls him a businessman who's lived in Jefferson County since the late 80s with a clean record, except for a DWI expunged years ago. Kennedy's bond is now set at $200,000. If he does make bond, he'll be confined to his house and won't be able to drive a car.
Well, I'm sure Judge Stevens wanted to protect the public, and that's one of the conditions there. None of us can look into the future, but we can take steps to make sure.
Some of those steps include drug and alcohol tests, having an ignition interlock in his car, though he's not allowed to drive, wearing a patch that detects drugs and alcohol, and not being able to go anywhere that has alcohol on the premises.
It's not unexpected. We had counseled and were expecting it and knew that there were going to be restrictions and all, which we readily agreed to. And now we'll just see if they can arrange for the bond and comply with all the restrictions.
Restrictions, a bond, a life lost, and tears as Rockline Kennedy waited to hear the court's decision.
Any, person that ends up in this kind of situation, they should feel that.
Next step in the process will be the grand jury. They're going to decide if Kennedy will be indicted on that charge. Live from the Jefferson County Courthouse, I'm Jessica Crawford, KFDM 6 News.